Where do we start? Where do we begin? I'm going to tell you exactly how it's going to begin in this session of Mr. Tackpants. You see, what I really want to talk about, I'm going to actually forget by the time I give my introduction. I probably won't even remember why I'm talking to myself on the screen, not noticing that the screen is picking up the sound of my thoughts because I'm thinking out loud. I see the meter going to the top, and down to the bottom. But it picks up the vibrations more than the loudness, because I'm not always talking the loudest of tones, and it still picks it up. Remember, my friends, this is the stick we will win with. We must all have one of these sticks. It's called the old baton, the old stick. You remember the old police stick? All he had was a stick. Didn't need a gun. Had a stick. You know what I'm saying? At certain times, did you notice the way in 1920 what they were doing and why they did it and what it led to? That's what it's leading to. Our only way through this, okay, without holding a gun, is to have a nice stick. Not only one stick, but a bunch of them. And a few of them that look like darts. Do you know why? Because if we're riding onto the demon devil, then we all know they are the weird ones. We are the weird of wolves, but they are the vampires. We are the weird wolves, and they are the vampires trying to suck our blood. Whatever is blood is the value of life. When you take away everything from somebody else, you have drained his life from what he sees until you lock him up. But you can never take the inner instinct of the thought about the heavens above and how they created this earth just so we should look and laugh. God put us here as basically the game. One big joke of picture cards. We are kings and queens, jacks of all trades. We do the best we can, we get 10. We are born a 9 to an 8 heaven, to a 7 God of the 7th gate, of the 7 era of 3 creation, creating 21. Of 2 dice it creates 42, which is representation of the number 5 and 9. And once you have the 5, you automatically have the percentage of the 9, which is now the 6. And it's right down on your keyboard. Okay? You see number 5 has got the percentage key. You see the angle? See the angle of that slant? That's the creation slant. Where's the X? You see the X? And you see the slant on the 3? Would you say it's just about the same thing? And it's in blue. It's all in blue. You think I did it? Plus or minus? They don't need that anywhere else. They don't need the explanation in front of God, even though there might be a God before it. In the other world, God gives you more and all the answers inside books. You got to become a bookworm. You got to go underneath the ground. But when you know too much and you're a bookworm, and you go underneath the ground, everybody knows God made the earth in such a way that that worm will come up every single morning at 5 a.m. so that a bird can swoop down, eat the worm, and go back to sitting on a wire, picking up that electronic into his feet. You know what a high is? I mean, you want to really be in a high? You want to really get a drug? These birds on the wires, they get high from those wires. Do you know why? Because that's what I'm saying. It's a hypothetical thought inside a scientific fiction world. Any more than that? How far do you have to go? Mini-me? I don't got no mini-me. I got a red dragon in the background. And that dragon has been in everybody's life that has ever watched my videos. Do you know why? Because if you really get down to the nitty-gritty of understanding the single solitary thought of everything that comes out of my mind, you hearing it is a first vision, but it's actually another thought our way to think. Do you know what I say? Listen to this, and I've told everybody before. When Lenin, the comet, passed, when was her biggest pull? When was her biggest drag? When was the biggest drag? It's like when air passes between two things. Understand, we are in a filled-up world. This is not an empty world. If you run fast, you feel the wind. If it was an empty world, you would feel absolutely nothing. There is a pressure on you constantly from every which way but loose, and you are constantly pressured all the time. The chemtrails they put up in the sky with the zigzag rotation, they have no choice but to do it that way, because it's going to show up. Something's going to show up weird unless you follow the diamonds. You must follow the diamonds in the sky because they are a woman's best friends, and Mother Nature needs it that way. And if you don't do it that way, you give out one of the devil's secrets. You know the devil, the demon, he lived once. He was never dead, but he was always read, and it was always said that the demon devil will only come when you are too good. And then you are good, and if you are evil, others will tell you. So it's pretty much easy to see. But then again, we would watch the video and say, okay, but you got to ask yourself, who am I? And then you got to question your answer. And you got to question the reason of it. Who am I and why? And if you're not sure which way to go, then you go from the bottom to the top to get yourself out of the frustration of not being able to pinpoint what it is. We will give you something even greater. Put down what you want to be. It doesn't matter if it's magical. You have to go right to the top, and you have to do your best. And then you got to go to the worst you can ever be. And then try and understand who you actually are going both ways. What does it do to your mind? What do you vision? What would other people think about it? So now if you talk to it, and we all talk about it, and when society starts to see that all in one, and not a small percentage, you need 99% to understand the vision of what it means for communication, understanding, to reason, in order to get along in society, not to take advantage, steal, kill, rape, or any other bad old good deed, because it's a bad deed and it's a good deed, because when it's bad it's happening, and when it's good it's over, and when it's good you've learned from it, and many others in the court system too. Don't forget, the libraries of the court systems are so great with everything. What stories are inside the judicial system? Am I talking funny? So we were talking about the air passing, okay? What will it disrupt? As the element passes, since we're both cars, okay, running on the same solar power energy electrons of the iron, magnesium, and whatever worlds, with the oil in the middle of the earth, okay, to cool down the earth, to cool it down. There's a goddamn radiator going around our earth. Our earth is like a car motor, and we're just living on the top of it. But they got a hood, and they called it the grass. And they taught you how to enter the matrix by smoking weed, heroin, whatever else drugs you can do, is to get to the other side of the mind. So the other side of the mind is center. And when you're in center field, my friends, you're between the two minds. Right here, my friends. Look, no hole in the center of the nose. It's right here, my friends, right here. They put it here. I like to put it right here. It's got to go by the widow's peak. Otherwise, the peak wouldn't be there. That would be the highest point. Otherwise, it wouldn't be the highest point. From the front of the face, basically, right here. You see, I'm smoking, and I forgot what I was talking about. You can ask me. So what happens with this passing thing? Oh, yeah, the earth. And then they put the grass on top of it, which is the face of the earth. They put some trees on it, you know. Imagine, what would it be like? What's actually growing for your whole life? They say your nose grows, right? Well, if your nose grows, there's another thing that grows for the rest of your life, and that's a tree. Do you know anything else that grows and shows, okay, for time after time, that can live forever and almost and ever, eternal as I know it for me, because I'm gone after 63. Well, it could be 82, but it doesn't matter, because all in all, my mind is 101. So I have left. I have made the rounds, and I sowed. It's like shoving it in one eye and going back up, right? They're saying you see from back here, right? But if you're sown through spirit, it might just go through the V and wrap into the world. Somehow we are connected to the strands of the matrix in this world. We are seeing things the way the matrix forced our 2020 vision. And it's 2020 because that's the two parts of the world, 20 to the left and 20 to the right. When your two eyes get together at 20/20, actually, if they both go 20, they end up in free parking on Monopoly. And then you go googly eyes, and they're double vision. When you go 20/20, the reverse of 20/20 vision, right? You get the double vision by crossing your eyes over your nose. And then when you do that, you see two of everything. And it looks weird, but it is two of everything. There's two eyes, but now when you get into the 20, right? 23, it's now 3 of everything, and when you get into the 30s, it's 4 of everything. Because 0, the only reason 0 is where it is because 0, okay, comes after 1. You want to know? You want me to explain it? Okay, here goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, God. 8, heaven, 9, birth. 10 is the end. 10 is the end. It would go 9, 1, meaning spirit. Then it would be 0 to start as 1, because you're still on the first place to start. So if you have started at 1 on the second level, again, going up to 9 and 10, the totality of, the 10 has a 0 on it. Therefore, you start at 0 when it's actually 10. Because God is there. He's 10. When you see 0, it's actually love of 1, because that's what it means. What is it? You know, what am I supposed to tell you? All these colors, I match them up. I see what everybody else says. You know, they tell me a chicken egg, you know, when you cook it, the protein is in the center, and it's yellow, just like the pool ball is yellow on the 1 and the 9. On the horses, it's the 4 and the 6 from thoroughbred to standardbred. And then if you want to get off, usually the 1 in horses in both racetracks are red and red. So now we got to understand what the horses mean. And we absolutely know that blue is 2 at the thoroughbreds, and at the harness it's white, or the vice versa. And the 3 is the same thing, white and blue. 2 and 3 are white and blue, and that's this world, 23, 32. 23, the secondary creation of the entrance, 32, into this world of the secondary heavens, 32. And together, it's actually saying W-E. And W-E at 23 in the 5 letters, 28, and that's the this heaven, and it also says we. What I mean is W is the 23rd letter, E is the 5th letter, okay, and that makes 28. But if you really want to say it, if you really want to look at it in another fashion to understand a new definition, see, we have to keep creating, even if we're wrong, it doesn't matter. It's the vision of that moment. Then we can categorize them after. But then you have to have double numbers, because it was the first choice, but now it's placed number 3 in category number 4. Anyways, what was first? Was it the numbers or was it the letters? Think about it. Think about it. It had to be the numbers, okay, because it couldn't be the letters, because omega, the O, had to come at the end. It had to come after the second number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The 10 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, O, or 0. So it had to be manufactured in that position. You see, because the 15th letter O in the alphabet, okay, is in the 15th position. So what we're actually looking like is the 2 different O's from numbers to the alphabet O. Is one has a value of 15, 15th position, the other has a value of the 10th position, and stands for 10 or 0. But the 10th letter is the J letter. So when we look at the J letter, we automatically say J equals 10. So did God add a vowel to every number? to create the alphabet, and absolutely he did. He had to, because only with the alphabet, okay, did he begin alpha, beta creation. He didn't need anything else when he was alone. He was 1 to 10. He was perfect. And then who showed up? The alphabet. Can you believe it? Hi-ho, hi-ho, up there we go, hi-ho, hi-ho, hi-ho. Oh, that wasn't Cinderella. I thought I was going to sing Cinderella. Oh, wait a second. My glass slipper. I've lost it. Oh, wait a second. There's a pumpkin outside. I think I'll take that pumpkin for a ride. Now, it's an orange pumpkin. It's a beautiful pumpkin. And you see the way the pumpkin kept turning around the wheels? 6 and 9, 6 and 9, take me to the ball. And I had a lot of fun and all, but then I took a fall and lost my slipper. But I made it home, of course. I thought twice. I even had to run the elephants and use the little mice. Beautiful, beautiful story, wasn't that? My God, when I look at these stories from what I learned from the outer space God in heaven, is he taught me every story is connected back home. So we know, or I know, every time I do something, I am going to connect it to the way I would think they would have did it. And I'll put it right back home, and then you know what? Just like in camp, when I used to be sad that I want to be home because I didn't want to be here, well, I'm here on earth. Well, guess what? I'm a cheater. Because inside my mind, sometimes I can think, oh, this is where we are. Okay. Not sure what the place looks like. I'm trying not to get a good visual. I'm trying to play like the blind bat. I'm just trying to see in my head that I'm back home. It's a beautiful place. We know this is just a game. I haven't played it right. That's why I'm in the position today that I am. If I played the game differently, things automatically, in the devilish ways of evolution, they change, regardless of which way of the tilt. It is only man's mind who advances that will bring on the verbal understanding of the tilt of evolution that changes the way. And how come evolution goes up? It does. When you create new, it goes up. But yes, 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 as it goes up, if you think God made it easy for every aspect of this earth, you gotta be kidding. When you put one thing up, you gotta look for something else that's wrong. Because anything that goes up must have a downside. And now everybody studies the downside, and whoop, all the hackers come in. Why does a hacker come in? Some come in to steal. Others actually, you know, if you don't give people the reason for anger, okay, if you don't give the people the reason for anger, people will not do what they are doing today. Yes, they will do crazy kinds of things, but if you shove in one guy's face $100 million, do you think he's going to cause bank robberies all the time? So you got to change the system. What would God do? Hold on a second. Got an incoming call. Got to take it on this phone. Hello? Hello? Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is my telephone pig at the same time. Oh, this is Asia calling? Yeah. You found one of my old cats. Well, how do you know? Because when you served him for supper, my address was still in his stomach. Right. Well, yeah, I left the address. I had to feed my address into his food because he kept getting lost. So, yeah, so you found them, right? Did you save the silver bullet? You have the pearl? Okay, now this is what you have to do, okay? Because my cat wanted to be a human being, all right? I got one plugged up over here in the pearl. I've got an extra pearl over here. What you do is put your pearl in your server softer. Inside the skin. Yeah, it's a membrane. It's like a cheese membrane. Yeah, put that in. And just press go and it'll transfer over. It'll transfer them right over to me, and then I'll insert the P inside to his brain, and then that cat will now be a human being. What do you mean you can't do it? Oh, I'm the guinea pig. Oh, cool, man. So I'm no longer a pussy. I'm just going to be one fucked up human being until I understand this traumatic life of spawning, I guess. All right, let you go. Come on, guys, break the jokes. I want to show you something. You have this much space from here to here. The center is number 14. In a Rubik's Cube, the center is number 14, okay? If this was a ball. But if this is a single line, they would call this number 5, a single face. So that when they unroll this, it becomes this long from here to here. So that the only thing they can do with it is stand it this way, and there's no other way you can hold that line. What I'm trying to say to you is that, you see the thickness of my hand? Okay? I'm blocking this much of the screen. Okay? I'm just trying to explain to you that when they take the cubes or they put something, you have to block. You block it like this, but if you put it this way, you're only blocking from the top and from the bottom. It's put this way, it's blocking from this side and that side. So when I explain sometimes 2-6 worlds, okay, one of them is this way and the other one is this way. Okay, 2-6 worlds. The other way to do the 2-6 worlds is to hold it on this angle. On this angle, there's actually no bias. What I mean by no bias, it shows both ways in the same angle and you can't tell which way I was on. So now you can line them up the same way if you want. This way it would create letters Z-I-O-N. Yes, the 6 dice spells the word Zion. Not because I wanted it to, because it happened in my mind. It was a flash. And I said, absolutely, there's no other way. This is the only way you can do it. And you know where I learned this? Okay, where I got this flash? It's so funny. Hello? Anybody still watching? Okay, just give me, okay. Yes. It came when I wrote a story about 3 houses. It was a 48-second video, and it just showed me what I can do. So it spells Zion on the 6 dice. 6 and 6. There's no other dice like this. There's no other dice like this. It's the 6 and it's only the 6. The question is, how was it built? How were all these dots put into their position? What happens to these dots? Everybody knows. You see this dice? If you really want to talk about the dice, okay, you can always see 5 sides. You can always see on this angle 3 sides. You can always see different angles, different sides. And it's the same way when you're setting up the matrix. Everything has to be on a certain side. But in the matrix, everything is the same way the sun and the moon, sort of, the way the earth sort of just skims around the turn. I mean, do you ever really see the turn of the earth? It's not, it seems to be turning on a top side, yet it seems to be in the center. I can't explain it. But it's the same thing for these dice, okay? It's 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. It's the same thing as your genes. There's only straight lines. There are no angle lines, okay? So the dice, right, since there's no angle lines, you just have to turn the dice. Now the lines look like they're on an angle, but they're not. That's why when they ask you, how many stairways to heaven? 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, 4 step, 5 step. The question is like this. What happens when the horse in chess reaches the other side? The horse takes a 1 step, 2 step, a total of 3. Horse says creation. The castle can go from one side of the board to the other side of the board, meaning it can be 7, as there are 8 spaces, but you are in the 8th space, you can move 7. As with the queen, she can move diagonally. But if I remembered to start the game, if she did move diagonally, she would only be able to pick up 4 spaces. but not before she moves the pawns or spawns out of the way. So what happened when they moved the spawns out of the way? Then the queen was be able to move. Who are the spawns in this world? Who are they? They are somebody, they are real. We have to rearrange, okay, because the names are all strange from the past. Even some of the names they have restated, okay, even like they do with the Mayans. They talk about 52. They talk about 260 ton. What do they know they mean? The Mayans, when they say 260, that's how many days there are in 4 seasons. Weekdays. The rest of the days are all weekend days. There's 104 weekend days a year. Sometimes 105. And the 105 means the game of life. But that, I think, is only in the year. That's a leap this year. But it doesn't happen all the time. What else did I want to talk about? The other thing I wanted to talk about was, no, I did this unravel circle thing, the role of this. I mean, even though it's this long, it's got to turn all the way around before it reaches this distance. The number of that distance is 8.22. 8 means 8 times 45, 360 degrees, all the way around. 22 is the life of beta and beta, which is the left side, they call it beta B4. And on the right side, they call it beta BF after, BC after, or BCA. They can also call it spirit angel of man. In craps, you know what they say in craps? Yo, we'll have! The 25th and 15th letter says game, which means 40. 11 is 11, which is 15, excuse me, which is a total of 55. The total, is it 40? 25, no, it's 15, it's 40, right, it's a total of 40, which is the game. The Monopoly game goes 40 rounds. And why is it 40 rounds? Because the corners, okay, the corners, take them away, the 4 corners, you only got 36. Take away the zeros in roulette, we got 36. The corners are twice the size of the actual lots and properties in Monopoly. The middle of Monopoly, okay, says P-O-N, pawn, spawn again, the light of the dawn. At the same time, the corners, being twice the size, would add 4 more spaces or lots to the game. If it was just some triangular end, instead of having the corner go, it would change. It would be 2 more properties instead. So then we'd have 44, because there's really 44 spaces on Monopoly. Okay, and 44 is the number for space in general code. S-P-A-C-E. 16, 19, S and P. 16 and 19 is 35. 3 and 5 is 8. Okay, A, 35 plus A is 36. C is the 3rd letter, 39. And E is the 5th letter, is 44. And now we have the word for space. Time, T-I-M-E, 20th letter is T-I, 9th letter. M is the 13th letter, E is the 5th letter. The total of that is 47. 47 plus 44 equals 91. Spirit, S-P-I-R-I-T, 16. P-S, 16 and 19, just like space, 35. I, 9, 44. Now we have space with S-P-I. Okay, spy, just with the spy we equal to the number with space. So now we have spirit, 44 and 18 for the R is 62. I, again, after the R is 71. And the T that is last in spirit, 71. T is the 28th letter, 91. It equals spirit. Time and space equals spirit. Matrix equals 85, which is just like 58. 58 represents the octagon mark or 4-corner mark. of the number 1 in roulette, which are 36 number combinations, and with because that's all we need is 36 number combinations. I'll explain it in a minute. And the number 2, spelling it by the word count, TWO equals 58. What I mean is not counting any repeated numbers. There are only 36 combinations of 2. We do not need to use the 3rd and the 4th, because basically the 3rd and the 4th is not actually part of our life. It's part of this universal planetary system that they have, and that would be beta. A and B is God, so it doesn't come on to us. And then 4 again, which is the heaven of the game we live in, the part heaven that we have. So that comes into 4, and I don't even remember what I was saying. That part heaven that we have. Oh yeah, what part? Well, man is the 10, and the other parts are. Oh yeah, we were talking about why only 36 numbers, because 55 doesn't have to be said, because 55 is actually 5 and 5, and they're both the same thing. So instead of going to 55, you just say 5, because they're both the electronic world of the first division, the first E. Okay, second E equals 10. So now we're in the second level, E and E. I mean, you can't put 2 E's on top of each other. You wouldn't see it. It'd be like when 1 and 1. It's the same thing. What were we talking about? E and E, the electronic world, putting things on top of each other. Oh yes, in the 10 world. The 10 world. In the middle world, we have world to the left and the world to the right, and then there's the center. How does everything work? Not exactly in that functionality, but don't forget, Monopoly board, we go around. So that's a game of life, to go around. So we have to understand the definitions of each of the items that we think of, what we're thinking at the time, what could we possibly can decide on thinking, rather than just telling you what I'm thinking. Just think it and just completely change from what you're thinking to something else to see if you can judge what the difference of your thought between the first thought and the jumping to something else with no thought at all. What I'm actually trying to say is, well, that's not fair. You're telling me I'm screwed up, I'm just trying to get away with the best of it? Is that what you said? Well, you know what, I feel like that also. You just have to just always throw it around, always a new idea, because I found something today. I found something really interesting. I'm going to draw this out, and then I'm going to show you, but you're not going to see because you'll only see when you open the video. This is what I saw. I saw this today, this design on a machine. It was flat like this, okay, but I can't put it flat. And here, in between here, was a box. In between here was a box. In between here was a box. In between here was a box. And the reason they couldn't put the box here is because this is a bar, and they couldn't lift the box up and down on the bar. These are the stabilizers, and they went between the stabilizers. So I used to connect from this corner to this corner. But now I'm connecting from here to here because you're working on a flat space. If I would go to this corner, that means I'd have to adjust this bar, on this bar, and on this bar to equal it. Here I just have to put it flat. I would have 2 extra cuts if I went and put it in a corner. If I put a straight one across from here to here and went on the inside, then I'd have to manipulate and cut this one and this one. And then this one would show an open mouth square. You'd be able to see it. Why I'm mentioning it is because when I have to think of my work, I have to think what's possible, logical, and what's not. I mean, even if, I give both sides a chance, but I mean, you got to divide the sides, no? The side that could and the side that can't. Well, since the side that could, let's check out what can't to see if it could. And if we find something that can't, that now could, we'll put it on the right. But we won't put it where all the good is, because we still have to, make sure that what is good is actually really good. So we'll separate now 2 goods and 1 bad. And then we'll keep moving it around until we find what works. Because we can always say, okay, that's it. But sometimes it's fun to continue on without disrupting too many people, to continue on saying, might be a better way. But you got to watch out, because I've gone down that street. I'm telling you. I saw moving pictures. I'm telling you, man, I saw moving pictures with my eyes closed. I know. I'm not like those guys on, here I go again. I may be just like all the guys and talking a fantasy of what I saw that's all impossible. But I saw these moving pictures, and I closed my eyes, and I said, whoa, this is fucked up. And I got scared at first, and I closed my eyes again, got fucked up again. I closed my eyes again, and I go, okay. I started looking, and all of a sudden I started going fast with it, and I couldn't even keep up. It was going so fast that my mind couldn't put it together anymore. It was driving me nuts. And I was tired. It wanted me to go to bed. There are other times it won't let me go to bed. There's other times it wants me to go to bed. It's really weird. It's almost like we know we're in the control of the mental state at some point, but I mean, if it happens, it happened already 3 times in 7 years. If it's gonna come back again, okay, I'm very good at my meds are exactly the way they should be, but everything is gonna change anyways because I got a thyroid problem. So obviously I'm gonna get mood disorders. I don't know what a mood disorder is. Does a mood disorder means you get mad? I never get mad. I never scream at anybody. And if I do, it's only once. And it's only because I have to get my voice a little bit louder. But most of the time, you know what? You have to really hit me with the stick if you really want to hear what I have to say. Because I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got ideas? Good for you. Good for you. Y'all got ideas. Me too. Okay. Raphael 7286. I'm not quite sure what to say. Ron Paul, always on my mind. The people of the world, the people from countries who see the beauty of God but can't attain the freedom of this world. I see those with the money that can have anything in this world and has no idea what Mother Nature is all about. There are others that dedicate their life just to writing books on the visions that they have. And why not? All comes out of the Matrix. You could have had the same vision if you gave yourself a chance. So I lit up the cigarette to bid you farewell for now. To whatever day you might watch this video, 2012, we all know September 15th is closing down to 1 month and about 10 days. That will be the inception of the pig based on May 21st eclipse, wherever that was. And that will be the little piggy. And like I said, that will be like the rebounder. That'll be like, the way I see it, it's going to be something like the Wizard of Oz about that time. That's what I see. The Wizard of Oz is coming down. Tornadoes all over the place. And then again, I don't know what it's going to be. And I've said that the last time. It could be crop circles, but I don't think so. Not this time. Not with the pig. Not with the pig. Not 2012. Add the evolution effect onto the pig. For the last one, this will never happen again. This will never, ever happen again. Because September 15th, if we had an eclipse on September 15th, the next one of the time of the pig would only be in January. So that would be in the next year. And if that happened, oh, that would be sick. So if it happened in October, having an eclipse in October would enlighten the passage of Nibiru by February 2013. And what am I using my judgment and basis, or do you understand me what I'm talking about at all? I talk about the eclipse. When an eclipse comes by, there's always a message sent. Which way to which world it was sent and who received. If one was sent and one was received. If it came from the left, it went to the right. If it came from the left, and it was received by the right. The next one would be January, or just about the end of January, Valentine's. And if it doesn't happen by December 21st, then maybe it'll happen by February 14th, if it happens at all. But I pinpoint these dates because those were the dates. I have a reason for those dates. And whether it happens or not, it's a different story. It's just that how I came to those dates. I have to document everything I think and say because it's my diary. Hey, this is my page. Hey, Mr. Tackpans, we're in the picture together. What? What, Mr. Tackpans? Oh, sorry. Sometimes he gets a little mad. He says, I don't care about my name. Okay? You know what? Mr. Tackmans just wants you to see his numbers. Okay? He wants you to see those numbers. You see? See what Mr. Tackmans really looks like when he's wearing his shirt? See that? Hold on a second. See that? There. Mr. Tackmans. He used to be a little boy. He used to be a very little boy, Mr. Tackpans. And then danger was created in this world. And he was tossed into the pit of fire. And he came out as a dragon because God's good men never die. And Rubik's Cube shall never be the end. Raphael 7286 in the constellation of Pegasus. From the north, the east, the west, and the south. From the club and the diamond, the spade and the heart. From the suits and the cards, and from all angles of view. Thank you for watching 42 minutes of all of us. When you watch this video to the end, and I see people watch these videos to the end, we understand we can stand side by side and not fight and not argue but discuss to bring in the new worlds. Why do I say this? Because not a day in my life would go by that I would actually watch 42 minutes of myself. But I watch myself sometimes in the camera talking. And I listen to what I have to say and I question myself. Am I doing right? That question does not even have to be asked when I'm trying to do the best I think I can. If I know what right is, then I would try to be doing it that way. But I am just trying the best I can based on the understanding of the knowledge of 10 commandments. And don't you see the numbers came first? It was a number and a reason, and a number and a reason, and a number and a reason. And those are the letters and the commandments, and it's that 10 that set up the rest of it for all our life. For the claws of Santa, for the cat and the dog, for the pigs, the chickens, the monkeys, and even the rivets of the frog. We do it all in the glory of one and only one for all the world. All China, all of Asia, Thailand, Africa, North America, Mexico and Colombia, even in Florida, even the Muslims and the Arabs and the Jews. It's all for one God. Did you know why it's all for one God? Because no matter who that God is, there's only one point to life. And that's to learn. So there's only one God to learn. Now, if there's another God for evil, so we'll say there's another God, well, that would be the same God dividing himself up because some people chose to be evil. God has to lend his knowledge to the evil so they can learn from something. So then we're dividing up the same God again. There's one master controller that puts everything together, that created the system. That is one. How many come from that? There are many others that can justify situational actions based on what has to be done on this planet. The question would be, does God work alone? And regardless of the fact for all of it, I'm going to tell you the name of God, and that is unity for all, for the existence of eternal life for man. It's the only way. But still, the claws of Eve will take the life of every man that is born. Now, Raphael 72.